What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. Today in MX Bikes, we are going to be covering what should be a track coming out today for you on the store, which is Club MX SX. So all of the SX parts of the Club MX facility. So this is a track that is a little bit, I guess, closer to home for me, being an FXR backed rider. You know, I'm always cheering on my boys. I'm always cheering on Phil, etc. when I'm seeing them doing well. I was so upset when Phil didn't end up getting that podium, man, in the rain. I was praying for it to happen. But looking at this track, first of all, can we just take a minute to appreciate the aesthetic here of that sun coming down, the nice orangey, reddy kind of dirt as well, and it looks really, really pretty. Bradley Clay, who created the track, has done a very, very good job with the masking. And what we've got here is two parts. So you've got a main Supercross track, which scaling wise, I think he's tried to make it so quadding into rhythms on this is basically impossible, which I'm a fan of. I like it being restricted to triple wins. And then over here we've got, which is a whoop track essentially. So we've got one, two, three, four different sets of whoops, even well, three and a half, and they are all of varying like size and distances apart, like and shape overall. So if you are someone who particularly sucks at whoops and want to get some whoop practice in, there you go. Now I'm taking a bit of a gamble today. I am going to be trying to ride the Alta over here. Now, this is a bike that I do not have any sort of like supercross setup for. So if whoop sections end up being a bit rough, or maybe some of the rhythms in supercross don't go quite as smoothly as I would expect, there's my little like pre-warning disclaimer. I'm really vibing with this bike at the moment, and I don't know why. It's just fun. It's just different, and I really wish we were able to use them alongside like 450s, etc., to compete. I think the only issue being, if that was allowed, is everybody would ride them because they're so good out the gate on the alpha mapping option that you'd be guaranteed hole shots all the time. So without further ado, let's get into this. Let's spin some laps and just try and get a good flow going.
For all of you passionate gamers, you can now get 20% off all G Fuel products worldwide by using code LINS at checkout. And for any of you motorheads looking for some new drip or apparel, use code MXPR_LINS15 fxrracing.eu to get 15% off. All links and codes are in the description down below. Enjoy the video and drop a cheeky little like and subscribe.
Now, there's usually two options when it comes to riding the Fantic. Oh, let's make sure the controller overlay is working. Lovely. So we have open mapping, which I would recommend most of you use when you're racing this, as it's basically a 450 in terms of power. It just lacks a tiny bit on the acceleration side. And we've also got alpha mapping, which is basically way over the top, rips your arms off, but the acceleration it's really, really good. So in my mind, surely that's the way that you want to go in order to do well on Supercross. Who knows? We shall see. Either way, we're going to rip it. We're going to do some laps. I will leave the whoop track until the end, since it's just the smaller of the two. We can cover that quite quickly. And we'll work our way over here to the main track. And where, oh where, is the finish line on this track? I have a feeling it's probably this massive double over here to my left. So if I come over here, we will set a marker on top, little track marker set in case I want to start doing some hot laps. And then we'll see what this is all about. So, yeah, I'll try to remind. Well, this is actually a little reminder for myself in the editing process, Mr. Lins. Please make sure that you boost the sound of the bike to make it as loud as possible, so we can hear the hairdryer working its way through. Now, I might have to ask Mr. Clay in the old DMs what he's done exactly to achieve these sun settings, because it looks like a very hot, very sunny day on a track that's kind of been baking in the sun a little bit, and this is exactly the sort of effect that I wanted to try and achieve on round one of my pit bike series, which I really struggled to do. I spent a lot of time working on different suns, etc., and for whatever reason, anytime I would make it like a bit more orangey or a bit more yellow in terms of the sun to give that, I guess, I don't know, like deserty kind of baked feel, I get these really weird reflections on shadows on the side of the jumps where instead of the shadows being black, they turn like a green colour. It's really, really strange. I'm guessing it's like a combination of things because you can change the colour of the sky, you can change the colour of the lighting, the fog, the ambient colour, all this good stuff. So it's probably a combination of things. So I have to slide in there. I have a feeling a lot of it, low, is achieved with the like textures and the masking combined. So the on-track stuff rather than the sky. But it looks really, really cool. I love how the shadows are being cast. They're nice and long stretched. Oh my goodness. Okay. Note to self. Don't land on the back wheel side of a jump. That's always a good idea. Also, worth me mentioning, so this is meant to be coming out on the store today. No idea on price or anything like that. I just got told 6 p.m., which I don't know if that's in Bradley's time or in my time. I would have a feeling it's in his, so maybe quite late on in the day for us UK diets. Worth me mentioning that obviously I have received this for free, so any opinion on this will be a little bit biased. I've not paid for it at all, but this is all up to your guys' discretion if you want to buy stuff. I think we're past the whole paid track debacle now. It's just if you enjoy it, then feel free to enjoy it. If you don't want to pay things, then hopefully you get a sense of enjoyment through the videos instead, and just working it from that point. I would say key thing to take away from this is probably that little whoop track there. If it's got a section that's specifically designed to help you in whoops, I'm not too sure what I need to do through this room. Yeah, then I think the main thing when it comes to tracks that are paid is as long as they offer you a way of improving at the game, I think that's all that should matter. And I think so far, without touching that whoop section, that's kind of its selling point so far. Outside of that, it looks pretty damn cool. And land over there, and then we've got to try and step onto this. That is a hell of a stretch. Okay, I'm thinking 450 would probably actually be easier than the Stark around here. So whilst the Stark's got this, I guess, like kind of nuts acceleration to it, I actually struggle to corner on it quite a lot. At least corner fast. On flat corners especially, I don't have too much trust in the front end. So can we go triple, yeah. And then if we just rail this, what can we do? Oh, that's quadable. Hang on. Let me turn around. Let's turn around. Let's see if we can quad into this. Let's try and break the track. Outside. Nyat. Quad. Oh, no, I didn't get as good of a run that time. But you can see how ridiculous the acceleration is on the Vark. Because I don't think I should have survived and brought that back, but I just banged on the throttle, and because the acceleration on it's so nuts, the front end just came back up, even though it was down already. So, I don't know. These whoops, they look big and scary when you go in towards them, but they're actually quite friendly, quite straightforward. Okay, there you go. That's a better line. So it's like step on, step off, little triple through there. It makes it feel nice and smooth. We go step on, step off, triple. I don't think there's a way of me quadding out of here, so I do have to end up singling out. I wonder if there's a way of me jumping around the corner, like doubling around without going off the track, without cutting across it and going through these cones. So step on, that was nice and smooth, got the apex to the corner better, triple, get over that, yes, triple again, I'm going to miss the rut, that's fine, little tie tap, calculated, no, I messed it up, I messed it all up, I don't think I'm going to get over this now, no, we're going to have to roll this, we'll roll the Supercross triple. Okay, so there are penalties, there are consequences to action, so it's difficult enough to where if you do mess up a rhythm, you can't just easily bust out the lane afterwards, you have to be pretty smooth the whole way round. Can we get this quad in? Oh, god damn it. Oh, I hate when lines are just so close to being doable. You just can't quite get them. Oh, this is going to plague me. Grab. Okay, Pavoso took the wheel on that one. 17th times the charm. Here we go, go up high, cut down, stretch it. Oh, yes, barely. No, I didn't get the clean triple out. Okay, that's doable. I part of me feels like I should come back and... Okay. Part of me feels like I should come back and try that on a 450, because I feel like that is really, really doable. There's only one or two ruts on this track. Like there's an inside rut here, for example, but I feel like you have to slow down quite a lot to hit that. I think the outside's going to be way faster. Oh, one or two. Hold on to one or two ruts in these flat corners too, which I like. I am a fan of pre-made rough on SX tracks. I know it's kind of I wouldn't say even like a 50-50 split on people who like and dislike it. I just think it adds a level of realism. I don't think Supercross tracks should all be perfectly smooth. I know obviously you could go for the look of perfectly groomed Supercross track at the start of the day, but I like the more worn-in feel. It just does something extra for me. I think it makes you have to be a little bit more precise. It's not just flat tracking and who can hold right trigger down the most, even though I need to hold the right trigger down not much at all on this bike. I'll stretch it out, get the triple out. No. Boing! There we go. Let's try tie tap again. Yes, that was much better that time. You can see how skatey the back end is for me on this bike. It's just the alpha mapping. If I was on open, I wouldn't be doing this at all. but then I have a feeling I'll struggle to get some of these triples because it's not quite got that acceleration that the 450s do. However, it does have more top speed, so it's a little bit of a trade-off. And there was some debating on if the e-bike should be included in like the 450 category, for example, at a certain wattage, and then be included in the 250 category at a certain wattage to be able to compete alongside the normal bikes. I can see both sides of the fence. I imagine that if they end up being quite OP, everyone would probably use them for racing, unless the series just banned them like they did before. I can't remember the exact reason for banning, but there was one period of time. I think it was the 2022 season, the one that I ended up winning. I have to remind people that I did win a championship at one point, because I'm hella washed up now. But there was a period of time where you were allowed to use it because it wasn't. Oh, which one was it? No, because it wasn't the Varg. Varg wasn't in the game then, or at least wasn't about then. It was the Alta, because it wasn't actually that good. I ended up riding it, and for whatever reason, I got really lucky in the round that I chose to ride it. There was no like big lines at all. A lot of the track you'd end up doubling just because of the way it was built then, and I just got very, very lucky and ended up winning on it. Mostly because, for whatever reason, I managed to get out of the gate on it quite quickly. And other than that, I've not really seen anyone use them in official races because they've either been in different classes or they've been banned entirely. I don't know. It'd be nice to have some more variety on the gate. I imagine it would be quite annoying if it became the meta, because the races would just be completely silent, which nobody wants. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that, if you'd like them to be added to the MX1 or the MX2 categories, or if you think they should just remain the same, and then maybe people should host like an e-bike class at some point. That could be quite cool. And speaking, sorry, this makes me on a little bit of a tangent. This brings me to how like aerial, or whether it's GPs or Super etc. goes at the moment for AMS, because I see a lot of people complaining that AMS times are just way too fast and that a lot of people should be trying to qualify for pro instead. Sometimes I agree. Sometimes I feel like the cutoff for AMS is ridiculous, like a second less than it was for pros, and everyone's just like right there. On the other hand, if they don't qualify for pro, then by all means they are an AM rider. And you also have to remember that the AMS players do have the track for longer than the pro players when they set their qualifying times, so their lap time should be increasing a little bit. But I kind of want to throw this idea out there and see if anyone agrees with it. If you're let's say we've got MXGP round 1 coming up. I believe it's Neckan, Argentina, and that's happening on Monday. The way I think it should work, just spitballing, just throwing ideas out here, is instead of having a separate pro and AM category that you sign up for, I think it should be one big event, and then it should be split. So usually it's top 35 qualify for the pro race. I'm still up for that. I think it should be top 35 qualify for pro, 36th through to 70th should qualify for AMS, so they're technically a B class. And then, because I still think top 70 is quite difficult to get into overall, with how much the racing scene's popping off these days and how many people sign up, I wouldn't even be against a 71st through to 105th, making it to like a novice class. So you've got like an A, B, and a C. Now that could lead to sandbagging itself. People could put in bad qualifying times on purpose. However, if you qualify in top 35, obviously your points go towards a pro series. If you qualify in the second lot of 35, your points would go to the AM series. And so if you are a true AM player, I guess you'd constantly qualify in AMS and constantly score AMS points. The only downside I could see to that is if you have one particularly good week or one particularly bad week, and you then qualify in pro or novice, then it could kind of ruin your championship. Mate, I don't know. There's always going to be pros and cons to these sorts of things, but I'm interested to know if anyone else has any other ideas, because whichever way you look at it, if you qualify first in AMS, even if you qualify first by a 10th, let's say you beat the pro cutoff time by half a second or whatever, even though you've had the track for an hour longer, you will be called a sandbagger. Doesn't matter who you are, it will happen. I agree. Some people genuinely are sandbagging and don't even attempt to qualify for pros when they have the speed to do so. But that's always going to be a lose-lose situation. You're never going to get anything too great to happen out of there. I think you're fighting a losing battle. Hi, Tap. Oh, so much clean lap time. Lovely. So yeah, let me know, because this is genuinely an area that I'm interested to get some opinions about, because obviously me talking to some of the boys that can't always qualify for pro stuff, they've shared their opinions to me, and I feel like that would be a kind of decent deal. But yeah, again, when it comes to points on a round and round basis, I'm not too sure if people would be up for that. And then of course you'd then be running free groups in, well, free 450, free 250 groups every night rather than the standard two. So the night could go on a bit longer. I've heard someone say to combat that, you could just do, the pro racing as usual, and then do the AM stuff kind of like together or more side by side. So you wouldn't need as many hosts. I don't think you wouldn't need someone in every server. You just have the one guy watching the server manager, making sure everything's running smoothly, make sure no one jump starts, like all red flags get done, etc. But yeah, it's definitely an area for debate, I think. There we go. There's the line I was trying to do. Jump around the corner, step on, step off. Big old whip over the finish line. Lovely. Now, I don't know. Looking up at the time at the top left, I don't know if I've just had some particularly booty cheeks laps, or if that is actually quite a long Subi track. I mean, looking at the track map on the right, it is quite long. Yeah, 1 minute 14 is on the long side these days. Usually we're looking at a sub 1 minute. Now, which way do I want to be hitting these sections? This looks right. That looked like an entry whoop. Oh, those are very, very tall. Yeah, that's got to be right. Because if I go this way, then we're jumping our way through. We're not Cooperwood today. We're not. We're trying to skim them. We're trying to be as Bubba-esque as possible. Now, this does come as its own separate like timing gated track. I'm just too lazy to leave and reload it. I just feel like once we're in the flow, once we've got the momentum going, we may as well. That section is very, very low. That one's very straightforward and easy. Those ones are a little bit steeper, a little bit further apart, but because there's only 4 of them, it's all right. You know what? This bike actually munches through these. Scrub our way. I wonder if, you know what, next lap, I'm going to try just launching that double and jumping into the whoops and see what happens. I imagine it's not going to go well. I imagine I'm going to go completely wad myself. We'll see how it goes. I've noticed... Is he... I'm not going mad, am I? Hang on. Has he made... Is there a low spot on these on the left side? There's obviously a low spot here as you exit the right. I swear there's like a low spot on these last 2. I think it goes down in the middle. I could be going insane here. I'm pretty sure it's lower, which I like. It means like shows that that's the bit of the track that is most ridden on, which should hopefully make the whoops easier in that part. So right, let's go around the outside, send this into the whoops, go on downside that. Oh, too far. Perboso, help me, please. Help me, God. I'm alive. No, I'm not. I'm dead. That was to be expected. Come on, what a silly idea. But no, actually, the whoops they look deceivingly difficult, but they're actually quite straightforward. I mean, what's the best way to explain this? So let me go through this section, and then I'll show you. I think I can get through this section just by holding the right trigger down. One hand. No, it didn't work. Okay. They're maybe a little bit more difficult than just holding the right trigger down. So they are varying. They're different sizes by the looks of it. And if you want a little bit of whoop practice, then definitely give it a go. These ones seem to be the hardest ones. I think it's just because they're so far apart. And where you've got that little double before it forces you to check up your speed. Whereas if you went into them without the double and you could go into them really quickly, I don't think you'd have an issue at all. And obviously, bear in mind, right now, no suspension on this bad boy. We are rocking stock Varg vibes. Hashtag stock vibes only. Would never catch me running stock suspension in a race these days. Back in the day, I used to say that stock's pretty damn good. And for nationals, it still kind of is. But if you're going in a Supercross race these days, because of how fast everybody is, and how important it is to get clean runs through the whoops and have good traction in the turns to get as much speed as possible, you do kind of need a setup. But yeah, if anything changes in terms of Supercross stuff for me, of course I'll slide it your way. Obviously, I'll still run the Husky for the most part. I'm tempted to try and branch out and use the Suzuki and Supercross a little bit since I've been using it outdoors just to see what it's capable of. I'm just a little bit scared because I know full well that it is a lot slower, and I think that kind of came clear to me on the hit uphill at Hawkstone just how slow the Suzuki is in comparison to the KTM's. So it's definitely fun. I enjoy being a little bit different and riding something different to everyone else. I think it's not a terrible bike by any means, but when you're someone like me who is then trying to compete for wins, and they don't happen very often. You know, I did manage to get a moto win in EU, but I've done absolutely terribly in NA. So hella consistent. It's nice to give yourself the best chance possible. I just don't like having a sea of orange or a sea of white, so I like mixing things up a little bit. And to be fair, to the OEM team's credit, in that Hawkson, or in those two Hawkson races, I feel like EU had a little bit more variety than NA did. But there was a good mixture of bikes. Now I think I saw Fathalito even qualify on a Cowie. I didn't see him in the racing at all, but I saw Yamahas, I saw Hondas, I saw KTM's, I saw Huskies. Obviously, I think it was me on the Suzuki. I think there was one other guy that I saw on the Suzuki as well. So there is a Gas Gas too. I don't know if I even mentioned Gas Gas already. Hakon was on the Gas Gas, and I think he has the fastest lap around that track so far. So lots of capabilities, and I think the reason for that is in outdoors you can carry a lot more momentum, I think, whereas Supercross is quite acceleration based. So you need that most powerful bike and all that acceleration to hit the big lines out of the corners. Whereas outdoors, once you've got your speed up and you can carry that speed, it's kind of there for you for the lap. There's only going to be a few tracks or a few sections of tracks where you'll notice that lack of acceleration. So I think that's why there's a bit more of a variety of colour, which is it's nice to see. Now, I'm not someone who goes and downloads everybody's skins because I have valuable space on my PC. I really need to have a clear out on the PC at some point. I'm at the point now where every time I record, render, and upload a video, I go and delete it from my PC straight away to then make space for the next one. So I do need to clear out. So if I didn't have that issue, I would 100% go and download a bunch of people's skins just so we've got like a multicoloured lineup on the gate, because it's what the game needs. It kind of sucks when you tune into live streams to watch stuff back and it is just a sea of the same colour of bike. But that is the issue that we have with having a meta bike these days. And I don't blame people for riding the fastest bike. Like I said, you want to give yourself the best chance possible, but it's nice seeing people do something a little bit different. Oh, I even saw a TM. There was a TM. Jack rocked up out of the blue, showed up randomly to race and rode on the TM. I think he scored points. I think I saw him in like P19 or something, which not bad since he's just disappeared from the game for like the best part of a year and came back. Obviously, Hell's done exactly the same thing, but Hell's is Hell's, and he went 1-4, something like that. But I think it was second overall. I could be mistaken there. But it was, yeah, Hawkson was good. I enjoyed it. Good like taster for the rest of the year. Love the roughness. Obviously, track was a little bit skinny, which is to be expected for Hawkson. It is very skinny in real life, but if they keep up with that level of rough, I'm going to be a very, very happy man. I love being forced to actually slow down and try and pick my lines a bit more. It's really, really enjoyable. So you know what? That's going to wrap it up for me. I definitely think I should have ridden a 450 around here, because the Stark, whilst it's all right, there's certain parts of the track where it really struggles, like trying to step onto the tables out of the corners. I could do with a little bit more traction, which the 450 would provide. I think there are some big boy lines on this track to hit as well, like quadding out of this corner, maybe going quad triple. So they are there for the taking. And other than that, it's just a well put together track. You know, like I think it looks very, very pretty. The masking and textures are done really nicely. A little bit jealous of the environment and the sun, etc. I might have to try and steal that for myself. But other than that, good stuff all around. Good little whoop practice area over there, and just a solid all-round track, which kind of resonates with me and my fellow Club MX riders. I guess it should be called Club SX if it's just Hair's only at this point. Yeah, I think that'll wrap it up for me for today. I hope you have enjoyed. As always, if you did, please do drop a cheeky little like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It is always greatly appreciated. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you guys are up to, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.
I'm working hard, I'm sacrificing my life, I'm sacrificing my mind, I'm sacrificing my sanity, but most importantly, I'm sacrificing my time. Boy, I feel fine, I feel like I am a king. Honestly, I can't complain, even with faith that's the size of a grain of some salt, I will still move a mountain and do what I want. I got